Greetings, YouTube. I want to start off this video with an apology, which I know might seem like a weird thing to do, but you see, ever since Monday and Tuesday, I've promised summoners that I would make a video on this, and the semester is winding down. I am fully exhausted and completely spent, and I just haven't been able to make it until Friday night. And I know I was talking to my man Fujitac how exhausted I am. I know I probably look terrible, but I feel even more exhausted and terrible than I look, if that's even possible. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you for those of you who continue to send me feedback, especially those of you who are posting this feedback on the Kabam forums only to see that your posts are soon to be deleted or you're even censored. It is always a very challenging and, dare I say, frustrating experience to post on the Kabam forums, even when you're just trying to give them feedback on what device you're using and what problems you're running into. As I can see it, besides the incursion bug, which basically ignores all your masteries, and I have made a separate video on that already this week, but there are three different kinds of bugs that I'm seeing on both Apple and Android devices that I want to touch on in this video. The first is the most common bug we've seen for months, if not years, and that's lag. Now, what's really interesting about the lag that I've seen, and I use an iPhone 10, is that it is so random. Like, I'll be going through an Alliance Quest path, and the first fight will be fine. It'll be smooth, and everything will be performing as intended, as Kabam likes to say. But then the second fight, there's literally a Super Nintendo game from decades ago, and I don't know if anybody's going to appreciate this reference, but I just hope somebody does. And if you do, put it in the comments. There's a Super Nintendo game called Super Mario Yoshi's Island. And there is a level called Touch Fuzzy, Get Dizzy, where if you touch these floating, fuzzy creatures, you basically all of a sudden feel like you're drunk, and the music slows down, and the level starts to like go up and down like Jello, and you can't do anything. That's exactly how I feel when the lag hits my phone, because all of my frames are slowed down and even my movement is slowed down, but it somehow seems like the frames and the movement of the defender are normal. So I'll parry and I'll miss the parry by like a full second and get absolutely wrecked, or I'll counter and I'll get like one hit in, but then somehow the second or third hit of my combo won't register, and then the defender will counter and destroy me. And I'm talking about like people I've never really lost health to on even map 5, like an Unstoppable Colossus, for example, a pretty dang easy person to defeat. Suddenly I've lost half my health with Corvus because of lag. So lag is the first thing I want to discuss. The second thing I want to discuss is kind of just a bizarre thing that has been around for months, but it's especially true right now, and that's just crashes. So if you are someone that sees crashes, if you are somebody that experiences these, they can hit at the worst possible time. So let's get more specifically into this based off of Lavani58121, and notice that this goes all the way back to April, even though those of you who contacted me this week have seen an uptick in performance issues with your phones that specifically happened after the May update. For 4 days, the game constantly crashes in all modes in the quest of Alliance, from 4 to 5 drinks to fight in the battle. The game was loaded one time, and for permanent crashes, they sent me to leave the Alliance. I don't know when you will solve this problem, whether there will be a place for me after this is in my Alliance. Now, let's just be real. Syntax on this, not great. But basically, long story short, they're screwing over their Alliance, and they are actually costing themselves a spot, because also, if you're the weak link and your Alliance members are sitting there like, what are you doing? So, Varen, let's read this. What is the point of this thread in the forum? Is anybody out there? The pure height of rude incompetence and terrible customer service, hundreds of complaints. And is anyone even reading them, let alone fixing the issue or acknowledging the problem? Well, that is a great question. Do we have answers to that? Not so much. So, iPhone 6 and iPhone 7 tend to be the problem. Now, Mario Impact notes, so many people with different iPhone, iPad models on Wi-Fi are crashing since they changed the coding last Tuesday. Sending tickets is useless because they won't admit it's their fault, and all the Kabam staff have been MIA on the forum since. I'm just burning energy on auto fight now and reloading the game every 3 to 4 minutes. It's draining my iPad battery like crazy. So that's another problem that I've heard from a few people, that these changes are also causing massive battery drains. I don't know if that's only for iPads or if it's for phones too. Would love to see the feedback on that in the comments. So you see April 27th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way down to eventually when we can check out May. Knocking down an defender and stepping away should be a logical move to do, but when I'm doing it, the defenders are not only on their feet, but also back drafting and sucker punching in the blink of the eye. So that is like issue number 5 I want to touch on. I'm really glad that I randomly started reading Ronnie Man 889's post. It's been a while since we've talked about backdrafting issues, but I have noticed when I dash back that I am not getting separation in some of these fights, and I'm immediately being countered with the combo from the defender of the likes I haven't seen in at least a year, if not maybe closer to 2 years, which is crazy, but also not entirely surprising given all of the issues that we have seen now in the update. For what it's worth, a month ago, Kabam clarified that you need iOS 10 or higher, so iPhone 6 should work. I am seeing, though, because I'll ask summoners, like especially Apple summoners, like, are you on the newest iOS? And they always say, yeah. So now we're scrolling down, and we are going to go to the last page of this. Good news is that the update appears to have affected the game crashing issue. The bad news is that my game now crashes every fight instead of every 2 to 3 fights. So they said the crashing changed, and it did. Now it happens more often. Covoid. I almost bought an iPad Air today because my phone is old, but allegedly still supported. But after reading the previous comments, I'll save my money until Kabam gets their act together. If they ever get it together. Seriously, they have oodles of money to fix this game, but instead choose to alienate their core players. I hope someone in upper management reads this, because the developers appear that they couldn't care less based on the deflection and non-response here in the forums. That is very well said, and also a consistent complaint I've seen for years, but especially lately with these crashing issues. I'm deeply saddened that I finally found a game that appeals to all my pleasure sinners. Now that is definitely a heightened phrase. When it works, yet lately fails miserably 90% of the time, especially when it counts like an Alliance Quest and Alliance War. How is stealing half my champ's life fair due to a crash in Alliance War and Alliance Quest game modes? Why can't a game recovered feature be used in these modes? I think I read something about players cheating by taking advantage of these crashes somehow, but now that it crashes all the time, the hell difference does it make? That would be a fun title for a video. Here's a novel idea. How about addressing the crashes themselves? Please stop with the bells and whistles, Kabam, and get the game working again. If you can't do that, make another version of the game that doesn't require a crazy supercomputer to play it. Enough said. All right, Venus talking about an iPad. Crashes very often, mostly when I start the fight and during the fight. The game restarts, my champ loses 50% health. We have bad lag. Tiger Fill, Dexterity, and Parry stopped working during Incursion. Okay, we've touched that. Basically ignores all of your masteries. Never before faced game and lagging game after updating and the game lags, even though MSIS is the only app open. So yeah, I've received some feedback like that before where they're like, well, just close all the other apps. Well, it's still the only app that's open, and I'm still getting lag. Now here's Mario Impact says, there's a workaround in Alliance Quest. It sucks because it's time consuming, but it only works for me if you start the game and go straight to the Alliance Quest. You can always do one fight without crashing. So that's where people have come to. They're just like, I can at least get one fight in before it crashes. Thank God. Talk about minimum expectations. Dave Guerrero, I've already submitted 2 tickets on the 23rd of April, 29th of April about this crashing issue. I've done everything as Kabam said. None of their replies gave me a solution to fix this problem. Even after the new update, the problem still remains. So let's be real here. Kabam's not going to fix the issue anytime soon, and so they don't have a suggestion to fix it because it's not going to be fixed. The interesting thing is that we have seen a decrease in scheduled maintenance on Tuesday nights. And like at first it's like, okay, great. That's awesome. Less time for the game to be down, to miss arena fights and maybe even Alliance Quest and Alliance War rotations, etc. But it also seems like lately the game has needed those scheduled maintenance to try to fix these crashes. But when they do schedule the maintenance, it doesn't seem like they're focused on that issue because the crashes sometimes only get worse after the maintenance is over. What I hate to say about so many of you using the iPhone 6s and 7s is that Kabam is almost to the point where they are just going to say, upgrade your phone. And there are users out there who are going to say, I can't afford that. This is a hand-me-down phone, or I'm a college student or a high school student. And they're going to say, well, sorry. Hopefully Christmas is coming around the corner and you can ask for it. But yeah, it's just that point now where, and I'm on an iPhone 10, and like Whitewind here, iPhone 10, overheating was a problem before, but seems even more so now and quickly. Okay, so that is also the sixth thing. That's the final thing I want to discuss because we're already at 10 minutes, which is longer than normal, but there's just so many things to talk about in this video. Overheating, I've seen iPad and iPhone and some Android phones. If you're experiencing overheating, please let me know in the comments. Look, I could spend another half an hour reading posts because these are so emotionally charged, but with also a lot of really strong evidence. Please know that this video on my channel is specifically to continue to bring these issues to light, and Kabam is not going to silence it or stop it. That's the beauty of having a YouTube channel, is you are exempt from Kabam's control for the most part. You never know. But in the meantime, I think that we can't stop filing these complaints. We can't stop posting on the forums, because if we do, then they're just going to continue to ignore it. Just like they did like the Nick Fury bug, which I think is still going on for some people a year into it. Anyhow, thanks so much for the feedback and everybody who sent this my way. I know this is a longer video than normal, but there were so many problems to discuss that I didn't want to rush through it. Thanks for clicking on it. I appreciate your feedback and also in advance your comments on this.